Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Uh, it's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for everyone who is organizing this. As Mara said a little bit earlier, we are approaching a war. Uh, when you look at the number of U.S. military um, naval task force that are out in the Western Pacific and that are doing what they call freedom of movement, freedom of the seas uh, exercises, which are essentially a predecessor to potentially war. We have two U.S. aircraft carrier groups out there, the USS Ronald Reagan and the USS Nimitz. And with each one of those giant aircraft carriers come 10 different ships as a part of their carrier task force. There are a number, we don't know for sure how many, but at least 6 nuclear submarines that are out in the Western Pacific, some of them having just left Guam. I live in Hawaii, and right now we are preparing for the protests for the largest US or the largest military naval war practice in the world. It's called Rim of the Pacific. And every 2 years, the United States Navy gets navies from all over the world. 20 countries come and bring their ships to the waters off Hawaii to practice war. Because of a lot of citizen outrage and also because of COVID-19, the US military has had to reduce the numbers of days that this exercise or this war practice is going on. It's going down from 6 weeks to 2.5 weeks in the latter part of August. It is a war game, a war practice that we are opposing, and we hope that you all will oppose it also. I'll try to share something on the screen that will show what we have a big petition that is to cancel RIMPAC, cancel the Rim of the Pacific, and the over 200 ships and aircraft and personnel, over 20,000 military personnel participated in it 2 years ago. Now we've gotten the governor of the state of Hawaii to tell the Navy, don't let any of those ships come into the Hawaiian waters. So those will not be coming in, but the ground crews for all of them, over 500 people, will be. So the issue of military confrontation is very, very real with those 2 carrier task force there, and also with the US military now pivoting from Europe to the Pacific, to Asia and the Pacific. And they're going to be moving their war games, their war practice that they call Defender 2020, which are over in Europe this year. They're going to be moving Defender 2021 to the Pacific and to Asia. So the United States government is definitely gearing up for a war that we, of course, cannot have. This is the 75th anniversary commemoration of another war, of the dropping of atomic bombs by the United States on Japan, and the horrific damage that was done psychologically, I think, to the whole world, that the use of these nuclear weapons on people. And when we look at what the US military strategy is now saying, that tactical nuclear weapons may be a part of any confrontation the US uses. So it's very important that we really look at what is happening in Asia and the Pacific, and what the United States is doing on its military side of it. So I thank you all very, very much for organizing this, and please, the pivot to peace is what we need, not a pivot to war. Thank you.